This step 3 is fairly simple again, short, maybe not simple, but short, okay? So it's not real lengthy, but what we're going to do in here, we're going to create a new target class, okay? The attributes of that target class are going to be its speed and size and location, x, y, of course. And then we also have to have a maximum and minimum x and y, okay? Because we don't want it to be outside of our canvas area. And then a value, and the value is going to store how many points are added to the total score, and also it's going to take in if it's a 0, it's going to take a life away. Okay, we're going to find out in just a minute. We're going to have a constructor. We're going to have a draw the target. We're going to have a move the target. Reset target moves it all the way to the right, and then we're going to have some. We're going to share some private global variables so we can paint that. Go ahead and add a class called target to our project. Once again, it's going to be just above fish. Right click on this line right here and say a new class, and this is going to be a target class, capital T. Okay, like that. We're going to take and grab these. These are global variables. Control C. And we're going to paste those global variables, of course, right here. Okay. And looks like I forgot a slash there. Paint, we're going to need paint to take and paint that target on screen, okay? There, oops. Okay, we got our speed. Once again, it stores the left-right speed, and that's going to be a variable. You're going to, oh, excuse me, it's not a variable. It happens when we construct it, okay? And then the size, okay, we also pass that with our constructor. And the location, we're going to set that later, but that actually shows it where to paint it on the screen. We're going to have a maximum y is equal to 0, or x is equal to 0. In other words, when you get all the way over to the left side of the screen, we're going to tell it to start over again. And then here we're going to take and say, okay, our minimum y, okay, in other words, our minimum up and down is going to be 150 plus half the size of the target. And our max y, we're going to set that in a little bit. And of course, our value, that's going to be something that we're going to set in a bit. Go and grab a little more code here. Nice big chunk of code here. I think this is going to be just about everything we're going to need to make this target work. So we'll read through it all when we stick it in here. Just like that. Of course, that goes right here, just below your global variables, doesn't it? Okay, we got a canvas. We got to take an import, and that's it. Okay. First of all, what do we got here? We got a constructor, okay? The constructor is going to receive the color of the target, the size, in other words, the diameter of the target, and the speed of the target, how fast it moves from left and right, and value. Now, value, once again, if you hit a good one, you want it to increment your score, but if it's a value of 0, then it's going to take away a life. Okay, let's see. We got to set our color here. We're going to set our size, we're set our speed, and set our value with our constructor here. We're going to need this location X and Y on the outside for when we paint our target. We're also going to need the size and the value. And then here's also a paint method that we can use to return paint. And let's see, then we need, draw a target. How do we draw the target? Okay, this is going to give it the width, and it's going to give it the height, and we're going to return a, excuse me, had a little tickle in my throat there. Okay, here we go. We're going to take and we're going to set the max X and the max Y from the canvas so it won't paint it outside of our screen. And then we're also going to take and draw this circle. Okay, so every time we call this method, it's going to draw our target for us. Move target's just going to change the X and the Y. And of course, when it gets all the way to the left, then we're going to reset the target, okay? So that it'll start again at the right. Reset is basically it takes and moves the target all the way to the right, And then what we want to do is we want to give it a random up down, okay, so that it won't always start out in the same spot. It'll start out in different places on your screen. Wonderful, that's all the methods we need for our target. Now let's go ahead and add some stuff to draw here. Okay, right there. These are some global variables, okay, that we're going to add to our global variables in our game view. And that's going to go right here. Let's see, where's our global variable? I'm going to add it just below the fish that I just did right here. I'm going to put it right there. Once again, I just took and added these in. Okay, we're going to create an array of 3 targets, okay? And of course, you can create as many as you want, okay? But in this case, we're going to add 3. If you wanted to add more targets, you could actually take and add them in here, just like I have them in here with a new target of this color, whatever color you want. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to add some code down here. It's actually going to take and draw them, okay? Every time we draw, Control C, oop, come on over here. Every time we draw down here, okay, we want to be able to paint and draw our targets too now, okay? So we're going to loop through as many targets we have. We're going to take that target, we're going to draw that on the screen, and we're going to move that individual target. Notice we're looping through all of our 3 targets that we created up here. Okay, wonderful. Once again, if you wanted to take and add targets, let me show you how to do that real quick a minute. Control C. We're going to take and put a comma here like this. V like that. And of course, we don't want to add, let's make this one a different color. Make it out of yellow or something like that. We got a yellow. Make it a different color and then give it maybe a different size, okay, and a different speed, and then make it something other than 0. Otherwise, you're going to have another death target, aren't you? Let me get that out of there. But anyway, that's how you can add additional targets. That's all you got to do. Go ahead and run it now, okay? And what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing targets floating across the screen, okay? The fish here, of course, is just going to float down the bottom. He doesn't have the power to swim yet or to jump, okay? But these are going to be floating across the screen. They aren't going to do anything when they hit anything. They're just going to take and float across the screen because that's all we've given them power to do yet. And you notice once they get across the screen, they're going to show back over here in a random height, and then they're going to float back across the screen again. And that's it for this section.